If the court filing fee is the thing standing between you and starting your California case, there's a form built specifically for that. It's called Form FW001, Request to Waive Court Fees, and here's exactly how it works. California's court filing fee generally runs somewhere between $435 and $450, depending on the county, and it's charged when you file your petition or your response if you're the one responding. Form FW001 lets you ask the court to waive that fee and some related court costs based on your financial situation, rather than paying it up front. FW001 is generally filed at the same time as the paperwork it's meant to cover, so it's most commonly filed alongside Form FL100, the petition, or Form FL120, the response. Filing it alongside your other paperwork is usually the simplest approach, since the clerk can process everything together without creating confusion about whether your fee has been paid. There are generally 3 separate ways to qualify, and you only need to meet one of them. First, you may qualify if you currently receive certain public benefits: Medi-Cal, CalFresh, CalWorks, SSI, or General Assistance. If that applies to you, this is often the most direct path, since it doesn't require itemizing your income or expenses. Second, you may qualify if your household income is at or below 125% of the current federal poverty guidelines for your household size. Third, even above that income line, you may still qualify if paying court fees would leave you unable to afford basic necessities, food, housing, or utilities for yourself or the people who depend on you. Now, what does the form actually ask for, section by section? First, your information: your name, the court and county, and the case number if one already exists. Second, whether you receive any of the qualifying public benefits, and if so, which one. Third, if you're not relying on public benefits, your household size and gross monthly income, which the court compares against the current poverty guideline for a household your size. And fourth, if your income is above that guideline, or if you want to support your request further, your necessary monthly expenses, things like rent, utilities, food, and transportation. Being specific here matters. Vague or incomplete entries in the expenses section make it harder for the court to evaluate your request and can lead to a request for more information before a decision gets made, which just adds time. Once you file FWW001, the court responds with a companion form, FW003, Order on Court Fee Waiver. That order can go one of 3 ways. It can grant your request in full, it can grant a partial waiver that sets up a payment plan for some portion of the fees, or it can deny the request. Read whatever comes back carefully, since a partial waiver still leaves you responsible for what the order specifies, and missing that detail can create problems later in your case. A fee waiver generally covers court filing fees and some related court costs. It doesn't automatically cover everything else that can come up in a divorce, like a process server or an attorney, so it's worth budgeting for those separately even if your filing fee itself is waived. And if your financial situation improves while your case is still open, the court can revisit the waiver and may require you to start paying fees going forward, or in some circumstances repay what was waived. A few mistakes come up again and again with FW001, leaving income or household size fields incomplete, which can delay a decision, filing the request separately from the petition or response instead of alongside it, which can create confusion about whether a fee is owed, relying on an old poverty guideline figure instead of confirming the current one, and once the FW003 order comes back, not reading it closely enough to notice that only a partial waiver, with a payment plan attached, was actually granted. Most problems with FW001 aren't about complicated law, they're about incomplete information or timing, an income figure left blank, a request filed separately from the petition it belongs with, or an FW003 order that gets set aside without being read closely. That's exactly the kind of thing Virdix is built to help catch. The guided questionnaire at Virdix.co walks through benefits, income, and expenses in plain language, alongside the rest of your California paperwork, so your fee waiver request is complete and consistent from the start. Virdix is a document preparation service, not a law firm, so this is not legal advice. And for advice about your specific situation, talk to a licensed attorney.